In our design today, we're going to be using inspiration from this website here. So the idea here is to take a very simple design and use SiteCrafter to recreate something that looks similar to this. That way we're getting enough training. And for those of you that haven't purchased SiteCrafter yet, there's a 40% discount. Link to that is in the video description below. Now, SiteCrafter is a Divi framework that helps you design websites that are easy to scale, and you can also design really fast, and also you don't need to enter any text sizes. Everything is going to be fluid. Let's dive in and let me show you. Right, so we're going to be using this as our basic guide. So over here I have SiteCrafter installed on Divi 4, but this could also work on Divi 5. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to add a new row. So in this row, we are going to add a text module. I know we're going to need two because when I take a look here at this design, I can see we have this text here. We also have this as well. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to come over here and duplicate it. Now, you can see here everything is way too close. So there's something I need to fix right away. And if you are a user of SiteCrafter, you may as well want to do this. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, and then I'm going to head over now to Advanced, CSS ID and classes, and I'm going to add my class, which is SK. Now what SK does is it gives us fluent typography across the whole website. So in order for me to not enter it every single time I need to enter fluid text, all I need to do is to create a preset. So I'm going to come over here to the top and create a new preset, and then I'm going to name it fluid typography. Okay, so as you can see, this is my setting, but it only applies to this particular text and it only works when I activate it. But I want this to be my default preset. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to say save. And then finally, I just need to say yes. And now you can see both my paragraphs here are all updated. Okay, so we know that the text that we have here is not too long. It says save time and money on AWS. So let's do something similar here. Save time and money. Save time and money with. Okay, so I've got my text here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just highlight it and let's set it to heading 1. Okay, because that way it's nice and it's big. And what I also want to do here is to align center and also make it bold. Now to make it bold, I can come over here to Advanced, CSS ID and classes, and I can set this to, let me just put back my SK, and then I'm going to say bold. Oops, that doesn't work. Okay, no problem, because that's heading text. So I can come over here and go to my headings. Let's go to heading 1, and I'm just going to change this from regular to bold. Okay, so now I have my main text. The next part now is my paragraph text. So as you can see, it's going across the whole width of my website. Now, ideally, this doesn't work because when readers on your website are reading your content on your site, that is way too long. All right, so let me just shorten this a little bit and then center it as well, just like how we did, just like how it looks over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now with this is I'm going to head over now to Advanced, CSS ID and classes, and I'm going to set this to SK-content. Okay, so it may seem like nothing has happened here, but when you have more text, what happens is it is now limited to the number of words in that line. Okay, so let me head over back here and I just need to fix that so that it's centered. I'm going to go to sizing and then center it. Okay, right, so far so good. I'm now going to go ahead and save. The next item I'm going to need is a button. So right now I can see I don't have space to enter my button here, which is a bit annoying, but it's okay, because I can come to the bottom here, go into my section, into my row, and then right here in my column, I can now click on this plus button and search for my button module. Okay, there we go. Excellent. So now I can close out of my layers here, and here's my button. So all I need to do now is let's head over back here. What does it say? Book a demo. Okay, so we can just call this book a demo as well. Book a demo. Excellent. Now, if we need a link, we can just add our link over here like that, and then now it's time to design this. I'm going to come over here to alignment and center it. So as you can see, things are not really spaced out correctly. We are going to resolve that in a moment. Right, so we have our book a demo here. If you wanted to, you could go further in and customize this button even more if you wanted to change its color and so on. But let's keep things very simple for this design. All right, so what I need to do now is to save this, and I'm going to add my next element to this, which is going to be an image. So I'm going to click on this plus button and search for my image module. There we go. I'm going to select it. Now, I already have an image which I added earlier on, which is that one right there. I'm going to click on upload image. Okay, so now that I have my image, I have all my elements. I'm going to go ahead and save. So let's take a look back over here on our design. So as we can see here, the spacing is, it's methodical, by the way. So it's not just random spacing, which is why if you use SiteCrafter, everything is going to look really, really professional. Right, so let me show you what I mean by that. So first of all, here in our row settings, we need to remove any padding. So I'm going to come over here to Advanced, CSS ID and Classes, and I'm going to say no padding. Okay, so now I've removed all the padding. I'm going to go ahead and save. Next, we're going to start here with this text. So what I prefer doing is I like working down going up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to go into this image. It's time now to add our margins. Okay, so my first margin here, margin dash top. So this one here is going to be large. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Now it's time to add our margin on the button. So again, I'm going to come over here to Advanced, CSS ID and Classes. So for this, I'm going to use medium. Okay, margin dash top is going to be medium, like that. Now that looks like it's a bit too much on this design, so let's use small. Okay, and we also need to do the same on the other one. So let's save here. Let's move on to the top one, and again we're going to go in and add our classes. So margin dash top, and let's make it small as well. Okay, so you can see now everything has been spaced out correctly. Now, if at any point you want to go in and make a few adjustments, it's okay. You can still go in and do your adjustments. Now, the spacing that we've just added here is very important because it is all responsive, which means as you make your screen smaller, the spacing also reduces according to the screen size. Now, you may have noticed that during this construction of this hero area, we did not go in and enter any sizes for our text. That is because everything is fluid. And finally, now we need to go over here to our section settings, and then we are going to say hero section. There we go. Okay, so now when we say hero section, it's going to add responsive padding around this hero area, which is fantastic. So as you can see now, this is our final design. And if we take a look here, it's not too far off. Okay, so it's very, very basic, but these are the fundamentals of knowing what to do as you're designing your site. So this is very, very important. Now, let's head over now and save this page, and we are going to exit the Visual Builder and test and see if everything is really responsive. Right, so let's go ahead and do that. So now I'm just going to drag the side of my screen, and you notice now that things changed a little bit here. It was a big jump. Now we have 2 lines, but as I'm going through this, you can see my text here is getting smaller and smaller, and the spacing as well. So if you look at the spacing here, it's gone smaller and smaller, and we did not need to change anything when it comes to information that needed to go on our breakpoints. So all this is pretty much, automatic, and this is what speeds up your design workflow when you use SiteCrafter. Now, this also works in Divi 5, but right now in this example, I'm just using Divi 4. So go ahead, try and do something, as basic as this. You may be wondering where I was getting all those commands I was using. So what you want to do is to go to Framework, because this is where the reference is. So once you install SiteCrafter, you're going to get this reference. So for example, I did SK. You can see here SK is what I used. I also used SK content, which is my paragraph text here. I could use uppercase if I wanted to. So let's take a look here, and so I can show you how that works. So if I were to go back to my page and enter uppercase or lowercase or text align center and so on, this will take effect. Now, if we take a look at our responsive sections, this is how I got my hero section. And here we have large section, medium section, and all these are responsive. So using these classes just makes the design process much easier. You'll be able to design faster. So in the next video, we're going to be taking a look at another challenge whereby we apply SiteCrafter and see how the design workflow works, and also it's good practice that you also get an idea of how to use SiteCrafter. By the way, 40% off, the link to that is in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.